السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Yes, once more. Hopefully, Fine Line can give you a little bit of luck again, and we'll speak to you again soon. But for now, enjoy that zone. That was Sahel joining us there. Sahel Kamira, Tunisian sports journalist. He's made the journey up to what sounds like a pretty lively fan zone in Tunisia. The players are out in the Al Janoub Stadium. The atmosphere really building there. This is a huge game in Group D. So with that, I will hand you to our commentary team for this one. Karen Bardsley alongside Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Emma. We have reached game number 21 of this World Cup already. The group stages are flying by. But Australia today are facing elimination unless they can produce the goods here. It is their second game in a row at this stadium. They lost to France here on Tuesday. How will they fare against Tunisia today? It is time for the national anthems.
Allez, allez.
Condamne et tu
This is BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. We are about to bring you Tunisia against Australia live from the futuristic Al Janoub Stadium, 20 kilometres south of Doha. Australia always knew, Karabaidze, that it would be difficult against France. This is the match they would have been targeting. Australia hoping that their World Cup properly starts here today against Tunisia.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great game in terms of just the tactical exploration between these two teams. I think, okay, yeah, you might say that the first game for Australia against France was, I don't want to say a dead rubber, but you can be sure that they probably weren't expecting a result. So, yeah, in terms of looking forward and getting out of this group, this is going to be a really key, pivotal game.
Tunisia's draw against Denmark has given them a wonderful platform which they hope to build on today. Both teams make one change from their opening matches on Tuesday. And it's Naim Sliti who comes in, plays his club football in Saudi Arabia. He'll operate on the right-hand side of the attack, a player born in Marseille. And the one change that comes in, the number 23 for Tunisia. Their goalkeeper is Ayman Dochman. Three central defenders, Dylan Bron, Yassin Maria, and Montesson Talbi. The two wing-backs are Mohamed Drager, who's a Nottingham Forester, his parent club. He's been playing on loan in Switzerland. Ali Abdi on the other side. In the middle of the midfield, it's Elias Skiri alongside Isa Layadouni. And Layadouni stood out. He became a viral sensation after his tackle on Christian Eriksen and the celebration of that tackle against Denmark on Tuesday. More on that in a moment. The front three, Slitty, Issam Jebali, who's the central striker, and the danger man, Yusuf Mizakni, who's got 17 international goals in the past, and he made more chances, he had more shots, he had more dribbles against Denmark than any other Tunisian player. He's the one to look out for the Australian defence today. Australia have got Matt Ryan, the former Brighton and Arsenal goalkeeper, playing behind a back four that brings in Fran Karasis in at right back, plays in Italy these days in the second tier with Brescia. He'll be alongside Stoke City's Harry Sutar, Kyle Rose, and Aziz Behic as the back four. There are three in the middle of the midfield: Riley McGree, Aaron Moy, and Jackson Irvine, whose header, you might remember, hit the post against the French. Then up top, Matthew Leckie, Craig Goodwin, who scored that early goal against France, and Mitch Duke will lead the line. Australia wearing their change kit. It is dark navy with a bit of a lime green trim. And a bit like the USA, I think, last night, Karen, Australia will hope that if they can create a chance, that they'll be able to take it, because scoring goals has been the problem.
Absolutely. I think we did see, obviously, Craig Goodwin managed to hit the back of the net against France, and it was the opener. And you could see the confidence that came off the back of that goal. And I do think, obviously, that they've proven to themselves that they are capable of scoring against the best. But yeah, I mean, Tunisia have been traditionally stingy as well in their defense, so it'll be a good test.
Yes, absolutely. Tunisia's defense has been excellent. They didn't concede against Denmark in the opening game. If you stretch back over the last 12 months, Tunisia have kept clean sheets in 9 of their last 10 matches in a row. And the one that they did concede in was a friendly against Brazil in September, which frankly bucked the trend because they lost that one by 5-1. But that's what Brazil can do to you.
Exactly, yeah. Don't give them any chances.
Okay, we're about to get started. Riley McGree of Middlesbrough, who turned 24 earlier on this month, will get us started. 2/3 of the pitch is in shade. The huge roof inspired by the sails of the Doe boats used by the pearl divers off the Persian Gulf. This is a stadium that really sums up what the Qatar World Cup is all about in terms of facilities. It's like something from the future, and it's a stadium that Australia will play all 3 of their games. They're hoping this could become home. Australia, who've played several games in Qatar, including their playoffs to reach the tournament, and they're hoping that experience of the heat, of the atmosphere of the facilities can help them today. Tunisia will play from right to left as we look down, wearing all white. Early pressure being applied as Mitch Duke tries to gegen press and nearly wins possession. And Australia have started this right up on their toes, and Tunisia struggling to hold on to possession inside the opening minute. Challenge comes in from Karasis. Australia will get it back, and they look to clear away. And as there's an attempt to hoof it forward on by Aaron Moy, he loses possession, and Tunisia will come and attack on the edge of the penalty area. Mizakni, he can't get a shot through. It's all started here, Karen, 100 miles an hour.
It absolutely has. I mean, it's a physical battle. There's legs flying in everywhere, challenges, to your point, lots of pressing, high tempo, but I think, they're going to both look to start absolutely, 100% committed to this, trying to get a result. But ultimately, I think they're just going to fill each other out for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's going to become quite a tactically interesting game with, a lot of probing passes into the midfield, just trying to grab hold of some momentum and try to dominate the ball and hopefully dominate the opposition.
Just the 3rd time these nations have ever met on the full field. They had a friendly 25 years ago, which Australia won by 3-0. In 2005, the Confederations Cup, and that time Tunisia won the game by 2-0. This is actually only the 2nd time that Australia have ever faced African country at a World Cup. Back in South Africa 2010, they came up against Ghana, and they drew that match by 1 goal apiece. Confident header, one of them by Harry Sutar, who, you talk all about Winter World Cups and this tournament being in a different time of the calendar year. Harry Sutar's delighted because had it been in the summer, he'd have missed this. He'd had a cruciate knee ligament injury this month last year. He only came back playing at the start of this month. It's a great story for him personally to have made this squad, to be in this team. And it's a similar story for Yassine Maria, who's the central defender for Tunisia, because he only returned playing in October, having missed most of the last year. So, much has been spoken about the changes suited some players. Of course, there's always somebody who will get a bit of a benefit as the ball is put out of play by Sakiri on the far side. He's wearing a protective face mask, a little bit like Son Heung-min for Korea the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these types of situations with, the calendar getting moved around, you're absolutely right. It does kind of create opportunities for other people, and you just have to take them where possible and build some confidence from the moments that you do get.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't think anyone thinks it's the perfect setup for a World Cup, but it's still the World Cup, and it's still absolutely gripping us all and grabbing eyeballs all around the planet. 0-0 early stages, Tunisia against Australia as Bayach takes the throw in for the Socceroos, tries to get it back and get into a crossing position, but the ball had gone out of play. It was closed down by Mohamed Drager, and that will be possession back to Tunisia, right full-back position for them. I wanted to ask you, Karen, from a goalkeeping point of view, for Matt Ryan, we know that he's been very consistent for Australia. He played all the qualifying. He's not played much club football over the last couple of seasons. As a goalkeeper, is it any different from an outfield player? Can you still keep yourself sharp? We saw Hennessy well for Wales before his red card, and he's not played an awful lot.
Yeah, I think in terms of goalkeeping perspective, probably the hardest thing that you're going to be doing week in, week out is probably training. And if you're consistently at a high level with your teammates, nothing really mimics game time in terms of match play. But yeah, in terms of the actual shots that you're seeing and the way that you're thinking about football, yeah, I think you kind of can get away with it a little bit more than necessarily the outfield players can.
I always remember when Peter Schmeichel retired, his last club was Manchester City, and I went to interview him on the day that his retirement was announced. And I said, are you going to miss the buzz of playing? He said, I am. He said, I'm really going to miss playing. But he said, the reason I'm retiring? He said, I hate training. I've had enough of training. I don't want to do that anymore for all the money in the world. Yeah.
I would have thought that.
Here comes Australia attacking down the left-hand side. Goodwin's delivery. And it's headed away by Ali Abdi, and he didn't get great distance on it, and Aaron Moy was able to collect it. Then a crunching tackle comes on the shaven-headed Aaron Moy, and he's really been cleaned out there. It's going to be a free kick to Australia. The referee's come over. He's not reaching for his notebook. Moy's first touch wasn't great for the control. He was then but no prisoners taken with a crunching challenge from Mohamed Drager in the follow-up.
I think this is a trend that we're probably going to see throughout the rest of this game. I mean, it started as a physical battle, and I think both of these teams know that that's probably something they can hang their hat on. So, I mean, I certainly expect to see much more of this, but it didn't look like he left one on him too much. It was more of the impact of the landing, but, we'll see what they can do with this set piece.
Yeah, Boy, well used to being targeted, a bit like Neymar in Brazil, a bit like Jack Grealish when he came out for England last night, immediately on the receiving end of a crunching. Collins will spot that Moy cannot be given time and space on the ball, but he's now got a free kick here, which will be taken on the left-hand side as Australia come forward, played in towards the penalty area mark, penalty spot mark, and Dylan Braun wins the header for Tunisia and manages to clear the ball away. But Australia come again. It's been a good start so far from the Aussies. Craig Goodwin rolls the ball back inside his own half. Bayach is back there in field to Kai Rolls, who plays in Scotland with Hearts. There's a big Scottish community in this Socceroos camp. So many of the players either play in Scotland or have Scottish ancestry. And a challenge here by Mitch Duke will eventually give up possession, but Australia win it back again immediately. And the ball won by Jackson Irvine, who plays his club football in Germany. Down the left-hand side, chats to cross for Bayach, delivers the ball in, looking for Duke, headed away by Yassine Maria, who was well positioned just in front of the Australian striker. But Tunisia at the moment, when they clear it away, they're not retaining possession, and Australia keep coming at them time and time again. This time down the left wing, Drager intercepts, and this time he should clear away. But that's all they're doing, Karen. Tunisia just clearing their lines.
Yeah, Tunisia can't get out of their own half, and I'm really enjoying this pressure from Australia here. I mean, they're mixing it up in terms of direct play, but then also getting down the flank.
Like Dilly's doing it again. He did this against Denmark. You may have seen the images if you watched the match. You might have seen it on social media. He wins a tackle, and I like this. He celebrates as if he scored a goal. I mean, the one against Christian Eriksen, he completely roused up the crowd with him. I want to see more of that, Karen.
I want him following me around, to be honest. If I go and get a coffee and he celebrates the way he's done there, I will be buzzing about myself.
And I want to ask you again from the goalkeeping point of view, right? This is my big bugbear in football in general. Goalkeepers have it hardwired into them that they can never celebrate a save.
That's so true.
I think it's because you have to be immediately on alert. As soon as you celebrate a save, you'll concede the next time the ball comes in.
It's so true.
But the instant reaction from goalkeepers is to turn, to wave a fist, and to shout at your defenders, how dare you allow that shot to be taken in the first place?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, you kind of wonder, you're like, are you going to get people looking at you like really, really strange if you just kind of like really celebrate? But what we did start to see, like in the Euros this summer with England, Mary Earps celebrated loads of her saves, and that was class.
Brilliant. More of that. Big fan of that. A big fan of Laidouni celebrating his tackles, and hoping we'll see a few more of them as Dylan Brun clears the ball away. I think what it is for goalkeepers, the job is never done. If a right back makes a sliding tackle, the ball is then away from him. Whereas a goalkeeper makes a parry save, the expectation is it's coming straight back, so you've got to be careful. Here's a cross from the left-hand side for the Australians. Craig Goodwin, cleared away by Tunisia, being forced to sit so deep here in the early stages. And a little bit, we mentioned America last night, and so much of the programme we talked from an England point of view. The American pressure, but no one to finish it off. That's the way Australia have started here. Is now for the first time Tunisia look to break, but Abdi's heavy touch sends the ball too far in front of it, and it's intercepted, and Australia bang it back into the Tunisian half again. 9 minutes played, no goals in the Al Janoub Stadium.
In a good way, it feels like we've actually playing a lot longer because there's been so much action, and Australia have been pressuring really, really well. But what I like about this is they're choosing their moments about when to press. I mean, they're being really diligent about trying to make the pitch as small as possible, but recognizing the distances and being really, really clever about their energy levels, because they started off like a house on fire. It's just going to be interesting to see if it's going to be that tenable.
All the possession, all the territory so far for Australia in a game when, frankly, they've nothing to lose now. This is like a final to them. Lose and their World Cup is over, so they've got to give it absolutely everything. Here's Goodwin. We've seen a lot of the ball in the early stages. Good pass to Matthew Leckie of Melbourne City. He's got a chance to look up on the right-hand side, 10 yards from the byline. Gives the ball in low to Riley McGree, and McGree's attempt to cross is blocked down. And then Laidouni should be able to clear away here, and he calmly rolls it infield to Talbi, and Tunisia do clear it up towards the halfway line. This time, Jebeli, who's the number 9, the centre forward, tries to hold it up, but he's committed a foul in doing so, and the referee is blowing the whistle, and he's given a free kick to Australia. And Jebeli there is kind of shrugging his shoulders and said, I'm not quite sure what the free kick is for, as he shakes his head.
I mean, let's be honest, like, what's he meant to do? Harry Sutar is all arms and legs, isn't he? So he's very, very good at that 1v1 defending. He's not afraid to get up to the player and make it difficult for them to turn and force them back towards their own goal. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot he can do there, but well defended.
Harry Sutar makes his way forward for this free kick. He's got 6 international goals, Harry Sutar. They've all come from corners.
I mean, he's massive. Look at him.
He's a very obvious target as he takes a position towards the back post, and Drager is the nearest Tunisian defender to him. This free kick, which is just 10-12 yards inside the Tunisian half, right of centre, but Moy is clearly going to drill it up into the penalty area. Matt Ryan Drachman is standing on the edge of his 6-yard box. The Tunisian defenders have taken a high line. They are 5 yards outside the penalty area. There's a big corridor of uncertainty which Moy is going to presumably try and play it into. He doesn't quite get it in behind, but it's been controlled out on the far side by Leckie. Leckie's back heel is good here, and a chance across for Goodwin from the byline on the left-hand side. But
it's all Australia. I think they've recognised that the back three of Tunisia are very, very narrow and compact, and they've recognized that the spaces are going to be in behind Al Abdi and Drager, and they're just pummeling it down those. And they're so good at the cross. Goodwin has actually been delightful in terms of his crossing so far over the course of this tournament.
Yeah, we mentioned that Australia played a lot in Qatar. 4 qualifying matches for this tournament they played in Qatar, and the hope is that the experience of the conditions would give them an advantage. They get to play all 3 group games at this same stadium, so there are some things that are in Australia's benefit, but can they make it count? As Harry Sutar picks a good pass through midfield to Matthew Leckie. Energetic defending holds him up, but the loose ball here is fall to Karasis. His delivery into the penalty area. There's a line of 5 white shirts pretty much along the edge of the 6-yard box for Tunisia, and they just stand like a white wall, and they clear the ball away. Jebeli here tries to hold it up, but again, outstretched arms from him. He's frustrated. He's getting it with his back to the direction that Tunisia are playing, and he wants to face the other way and get a pass maybe going towards Matthew Ryan's goal.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Tunisia if their number 9 is having to come that deep to receive the ball. And, he needs some support play underneath him, or he's really, really going to struggle beating the back 4 of Australia.
Tunisia 0, Australia 0. That's how it finished when Tunisia played against Denmark on Tuesday. You've got to go back to Argentina 1978 for the last time the Tunisia 2 games in a row unbeaten at the same World Cup. Throw in on the far side taken by Aziz Behich of Dundee United. He made his international debut this month last year against South Korea. He scored an own goal against France not so long ago as well. Aziz Behich. Clearance will be taken by Matt Ryan, who's wearing all sky blue, sort of a Manchester City blue, away to the left-hand side. And he's had nothing to do but spectate. He's only had back passes, not even a cross, to come and gather yet for Matt Ryan in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for Matty Ryan, I think. You know, as a keeper, when you're on top like this and you're expecting maybe something different from the game to begin with, it's all about that focus and maintaining that present connection with your team. So essentially, he's going to be communicating consistently with Rowles and Sutar, just trying to make sure that they know where he is all the time and he's staying in the feeling of the game.
In terms of his 77 caps, including today, Matt Ryan, only Mark Schwarzer, who we heard on the programme before kickoff, has made more appearances. Mistake at the back, and Mariah's given the ball away, and it's been pounced upon by Mitch Duke. We mentioned the high press, working well for Australia there. Lecky's cross from the right-hand side is cleared away by Dylan Braun, and Tunisia get away with one there. It's been a feature of this World Cup. We've seen mistakes by goalkeepers, by defenders, which have led to goals, and Maria's very grateful that nothing went awry there after his delay and his error.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great pressure and good recognition of the space, you know, for Lecky to get a cross in, but unfortunately didn't beat the first defender. So, I mean, that's going to have to be better. But Australia have been on top this entire time, and I think Karasis and Behich have done really, really well to get forward and deliver those crosses as well.
Karasis' throw in, good distance on it from the right-hand side, deep into the penalty area. It's a header on by Jackson Irvine, and now Lecky picks it up and goes down on the edge of the penalty area. Referee was very close to that and says no foul. I think it was Skiri was the Tunisian defender. Tackles flying in all over the places. Australia win it back again. Jackson Irvine goes full-blooded in, a wallop of the two shin pads there as the ball goes out. Throw in. Australia pumped up for this.
This is fantastic. I'm loving it. Both teams are absolutely so up for this game. I think they absolutely understand what's on line at the minute. And, you know, there's just lots of little individual battles going on and these little individual duels. And it's great to see. This is the enthusiasm you want to see in a World Cup.
Absolutely. 5 Live for the BBC. We're live on BBC Sounds. We're across Africa on the BBC World Service. And if you're watching this game on BBC television, maybe you're in the car on the way home, you're going to watch the rest of it on the box. You can go to iPlayer and you can select to listen to the radio commentary, all in sync with the TV pictures, if you want to keep up with our conversation here on 5 Live. Tunisia 0, Australia 0. Tunisia, who've just been treading water so far, trying to keep the Australians at bay, and they've offered nothing in attack in the opening 16 minutes of this match so far. Talbi, a much-travelled defender, rolls it back to the goalkeeper, Ayman Dochman. His clearance goes down the right-hand side. Dragger jumps in the air, but he can't get a clean touch on it. Slitty with a header too, but he can't control. And eventually it's cleared away, right-footed by Behich, down into the Tunisian half. And that is going to bounce and triple away out of play. And it'll be a throw-in to Tunisia, right full-back position for them. Karen Barnes.
It's interesting, isn't it? We're starting to see a bit of a shift in momentum. You know, those first 15 minutes have just been absolutely mental from both sides. And so I think we're starting to see a bit of a shift in momentum here. Again, choosing their moments, Australia, about when to press. But I think Tunisia have realized that they're going to have to play a bit more direct, go a bit more into the opposition's final third and try to almost play a rugby tactic.
Another busy day